Yeah, you can do. You're talking about something else now, aren't you?
This is another alternative Christmas film. Let's see what happens. Here we go.
Brace yourself.
Steven Spielberg presents Gremlins. Billy Pelser has a nice home.
Billy, is that you?
Yeah, Mom, it's me.
Stereo.
A nice girl.
If you're not doing anything this Thursday night, maybe you'd like to go out on a date with me?
I'd love to.
And loving parents.
There you go.
I think
You
we
get
know.
the general idea.
I think we know, don't we?
It's Gremlins. Now, Greg, you haven't really watched this that recently, have you?
No, I'm going to struggle with this. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
I'm going to struggle with this
Well,
because
why don't you tell us what you remember about it? Because you're looking at it through eyes that haven't seen it for a while.
I remember it. I remember it at school. Obviously, I was in like a junior school. I remember it being the film that everyone wanted. Again, I keep saying this with films. The poster sold it for me. The advert, like the video cover. You've got it there, haven't you? That sold it for me. That was always. It's one of them posters that I always wanted. Yeah, look at that. It's brilliant. So that was the one. Obviously, we couldn't watch it really because was it a 15? It was, wasn't it? So we did watch them, but we couldn't really watch it. So I couldn't go to the cinema or anything to watch it. I knew everybody wanted to watch it. There was lots of pirate videos going around then, so people did watch it. I watched it. Don't get me wrong. I remember it being a great film. I loved it. It was a little bit scary as a child. I don't think. Part of me thinks 15 then was a little bit too young.
Well, it wasn't even a 15 when it came out in America. It was a PG-13.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a little bit scared of it.
I think it's quite dark.
There are some bits that, I mean, obviously with Gizmo, it's the most cutest little thing ever.
Well, it could have been a lot darker because the original script had Gizmo turning into Spike. So Gizmo became like the evil one.
Really?
Well, the story goes that the script was written by Chris Columbus, was never written to be made into a film. He wrote it to send off to studios and things as a calling card to show his style of writing and what he could do. And he never really wrote it with the intention of it being made into a film. Steven Spielberg comes along and likes the script, and so he buys it and they make it because he can.
I'm surprised Spielberg took it on though, because he's more of a family thing, isn't he?
Well, for me, it's another boy and his dog type film. Look at E.T. I mean, that was Boy and His Alien. This is a boy and his gremlin. You know what I mean? It's that kind of story that Spielberg says that E.T. is quite autobiographical. I don't think that an alien ever came to his house or anything like that. But
well, you don't know.
Well, I don't. But the characters, and I think that this is up Steven Spielberg street with that kind of. It's that kind of set in the real world but fantastical kind of element. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you the one thing I do remember about it, which is what we've spoke about a lot about other films, like the Turtles and all that. It wasn't unbelievable when you watched it. You know, for the 80s, it should have been quite bad, shouldn't it? Plastic gremlin things, but it was still quite believable at the time. It wasn't like the Turtles where you can see the eyes and the mouth and all that. It
had Spielberg behind it, didn't it? And the budget was surprisingly low. It was 11 million, and they achieved all of that on 11 million.
That is low, isn't it? What was Die Hard?
28. I mean, this was, 1980... Well, it came out in 84, so 82, 83 that would have been shot.
That's even better then, because you think how bad that Turtles movie was, the original. You know, with the eyes coming to the mouth, you can see the people dressed up. And you think this is pretty good, like... Yeah. So I'll use the word puppeteering, if you like.
Well, I think when they went on to Gremlins 2 and they had a bigger budget, I don't think the effects were as good because they started to use green screen and stuff like that. And there's a scene in 2 where Gizmo's walking in an alleyway and it looks awful. Horrendous green screen. I could do better with our green screen.
Well, we've got green screen, haven't we?
Yeah.
We are really moving, aren't we?
So, yeah, I think, in the days when they had to create these things, there weren't computers to do the things for them, then effects people had to be very creative, didn't they? And hence the puppets and all of that were amazing, and it looked fantastic.
Where was it set?
It was a fictional town, something Falls.
It's all right. I know if you say it, it'll ring a bell. That's all.
It is something Falls. I can't remember. It'll come to me if I see it on here.
Don't worry. That's one thing I remember about it, and I don't know why I remember about it. I think the other reason I haven't watched it recently, in a long time or whatever, is because it's going to sound really pathetic. This is so. Don't have a go at me for this. I get quite upset, like with little Gizmo. Oh, go on then, rip it out of me.
No, I'm not going, Greg.
I look. I love all the Disney Pixar films. I love all them type of films, but there's always a bit in the films, isn't there? That's the sad bit.
Pulls on your heartstrings.
Yeah, either dies or it's dying or has to say goodbye. Or
Bambi's mum.
Don't. Yeah, there's always, and even Gremlins has got that bit with Gizmo, and it's not right. I don't want to be upset. Do you know what I mean? And that's probably why I don't watch it. That's really pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know it sounds pathetic, but I know what I'm trying to say.
You need to watch it again, Greg, because it is an 80s classic.
Don't get me wrong. I've seen it many times. I've not watched it recently, so I'm not going to sit here because you're a bit more of a fan of it than I am. But yeah, it's not something I can sit here and talk to you a lot about. It's just that I remember it. I liked it. It was cool to like it. It wasn't one of them films that like oh, you're going to watch that. It was, oh, you're watching that. So like I got that a lot with Moonwalker.
Well, it's another one of those.
Are you watching that?
It's another one of those alternative Christmas movies in that it's set at Christmas and everyone thinks it's a Christmas film, but it was actually released in June of 1984. In actual fact...
What month?
June.
It's not how you said it, is it?
June of 1984.
June, you brummy boy.
On the 8th of June, in actual fact, on the exact same day that Ghostbusters was released.
Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters?
No, he hasn't got any brother. Really?
So imagine...
Oh, wow.
Imagine your... Well, how old was I? Well, I was 9. Imagine your 9-year-old self.
That is unbelievable. Them two... What'd you do?
I know. Well, I didn't see either of them at the cinema because, as we've mentioned before,
It's in the sticks.
I lived millions of miles away from civilization.
When did you watch them then?
When they came out on video.
Was it from Blu-ray, who dropped videos off once a week?
No, we had a little video store in the village. It was, like we said before, it was great back then because even though it was a 15, it could just go to the video shop and Pete, the guy who owned it, would say, "Is your mum all right with that?" And you go, "Yes, Pete, yeah."
Oh,
thanks.
good days.
And you just 18s and
Did you do
everything.
that with all videos?
Yeah, Rambo and everything. I watched all of those. when I was a
Other
kid.
videos as well?
No,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have gone that far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wouldn't let us have those. Under the counter ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Greg.
Oh. That's a shame.
So yeah, it was released on the same day. Guess which film did better at the box office?
Let me think first before I answer this. Well, overall, Ghostbusters has got to be more successful. So you've got to go with Ghostbusters, haven't you?
It was Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Gremlins came second to Ghostbusters at the box office. It still did amazingly well, but I wonder why that decision was made. I mean, it was obviously made for the summer blockbuster market.
They're
Wasn't
both the same company.
I don't think so. No.
Well, they're both Warner Brothers,
yeah.
aren't
Yeah. Is
What?
Ghostbusters Warner Brothers?
they? I'm sure it is.
I don't know. Let's not go down there where we're not sure about it.
But even so, they must have thought, well, let's just hold back a bit, not at the same time.
Well, if
One of
I
them must
were-
have panicked, I think.
If I were old enough at the time, I would have gone to see both on the same day. Because when I got a bit older and I was going to the cinema on my own, we used to, on a Saturday, I'd do my paper round and then I'd go and watch 2 or 3 films at the cinema.
We haven't done Ghostbusters, I just thought.
No, we haven't. We will do Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we will do. That's good. That's the New Year one.
Yeah.
Because they might be doing a new one like that, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
With girls.
Yeah. And apparently there's some cast rumours going around at the moment. I can't remember who.
I think they're going to do cameos, aren't they? But it's going to be like the Ghostbusters girls doing it.
Is it Jennifer Lawrence? Might be one of them. Yeah. So yeah, it was released on the same day as Ghostbusters. Imagine that day. All the geeks in the world must have stood still. And gone, "Oh my god, Ghostbusters!
Ghostbusters! Gremlins! That would have been amazing, wouldn't it? That's proper cinema, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when you go in there and you've got a choice. Very rarely happens now where you can go into the cinema and you go, oh, which one?
Yeah,
Which one?
Nowadays it's not really anything I really want to watch.
No. I mean, we've said it many times. I think the last time I went to cinema properly was to watch Superman, Man of Steel.
Do you know, it was such a big event, I think, films coming out in the 80s, because it was your only option was the cinema. Yes, they came out on VHS, but like a year later or more than a year later, 18 months later. Whereas now, it all seems to happen very quickly. They'll be at the cinema one week and then all of a sudden they're out on DVD.
Especially if it bombs. They want to make the money back straight away, don't they?
Yeah, so there's not that, "Oh, I've got to see this" kind of thing, because quite often I'll think, well, do I want to go to the cinema and sit there and have some people rustling papers and kids throwing popcorn and being annoying and all of that, or do I just want to wait till it comes on DVD and watch it in my own home?
You sound really miserable.
No, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, we were the two ones throwing the popcorn last time we went, didn't we? Yeah, no, exactly what you mean. And plus as well, it's like that age thing, isn't it? It was exciting to go there. Now it's like you said, you've got to stop work, you've got to finish work, go and meet her.
Find out who's having the kids. And
it's 20 odd quid now as well.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be. No, I'm definitely agree with that. So I just want to know, when did the sequel come out to this?
Gremlins 2?
Yeah.
Oh, don't know.
Was there a big gap?
Quite a way on, wasn't it?
I don't know, because I remember that coming out, and I remember, if I remember rightly, that being more successful for, not necessarily in the box office, I mean, being like the people that I knew, everyone wanted to see 2.
Well, it had a bigger budget, and it was around about the time that you were probably a teenager. It was in the 90s. I went to see it at the cinema.
Well, I wouldn't have been a teenager.
1990 it came
I was
out.
10.
All right. Well,
in fact, it was January, I was 9.
Well, that was January in the States. So.
Oh. So, yeah, I was 10.
I went to watch it at the cinema, 14.
You was 14?
I was 14, yeah.
How'd you get in?
Gremlins 2 wasn't a 15.
Oh, what was it?
I don't know, it must have been a PG.
Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well, I think they did it on purpose.
Was it Spielberg?
Yeah, they wanted to make it more comedic.
That's probably him then, isn't it? So, in actual fact, the first one's darker than the second one then?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it had some critics said it was too dark and too violent, and I think they probably dialed back on that a bit for the second one.
Do you know, it's that type of film, isn't it, when you think about it? It is a dark and it's more of an adult-y type film, but kids want to like it because it's got Gizmo in it and Gremlins in it. And
so I have to ask you if you can remember what the 3 rules are, Greg.
Lights.
Camera action.
No, don't turn the lights on. Off. Oh, don't. Dark. Something to do with the dark in it. Help me out here. Just help me out with that one, and I'll tell you
Greg,
next
our
one.
3 viewers are screaming at the screen.
Well, yeah, but I know, but I'm trying to
No
remember.
bright lights. They don't like bright lights.
That's what I meant. Bright light. They don't like bright lights.
It
No
can kill
water.
them.
No water.
Yeah.
Help me out a little bit.
And, most importantly, no matter how much he cries, no matter how much he begs, never feed him after midnight.
After midnight, yeah. Is that one of the rules, is it?
In itself is a bit daft, because it's always after midnight, isn't it? Now is after midnight.
That's ridiculous. How have you come to that conclusion?
Because it's always after midnight. As
Yeah,
soon
well-
as midnight has turned, when does it stop?
Well, it's all... Yeah, but
So
everything's history.
Yeah, exactly.
Well-
So are they not allowed to feed him like 1 minute after midnight? Or are they allowed to feed him 3 hours after midnight? 6 hours after midnight?
I see what you're getting at.
Do you see what I mean?
Oh, it's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just a fascinating thing. I never thought about it like that.
I hated that bit when they put water on. When they first spill water
Oh,
on Gizmo
yeah.
and he's rolling on his back and all the gremlins pop out. I didn't like it.
No, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a horror film.
It is a
It
comedy
really
horror.
is.
Well, Joe Dante, the director, was best known for comedy horror. And he was actually in a bit of a lull in his career and hadn't done anything for a while. But then Spielberg does what he does best and put the right people together to make the film, didn't he? And Joe Dante was obviously the right director for it.
My mother-in-law, she's called her dog Gizmo.
What?
It's a schnauzer.
Pardon?
It's a schnauzer. And they've called it Gizmo.
Right.
And they're getting another one called Gadget.
Gadget and Gizmo.
Yeah.
Right.
A big hello to all the truckers.
I hope the dogs are very happy.
But being called Gizmo?
Yeah.
Well, would you like to be called Gizmo?
Not really.
Are they doing a third one ever?
No, but there's talk of a remake of the...
No.
Yes, it's been on the cards for a
No,
while. It's
it's
one of those rumours.
Yeah, but you can do it. You can look. These remakes are killing off things for me.
Well, they are for me.
But they're not. They might be for us actually, but they're not for everyone else. Because like Man of Steel, we've said it a million times. It's obviously done well because they're doing another one,
Yeah.
and they're bringing Batman into it, so it's obviously doing well. But Gremlins, just make a third one. They can easily just make a third one to carry on the story. You don't need to start over. That really bothers me. That does. That's like
Yeah.
you and the Goonies, that is, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd rather them.
I'd
no,
rather they
you'd-
didn't do anything
Yeah,
with
you'd
it.
rather not bother, wouldn't you?
But I don't want them to do a remake. I'd rather them try and do an original story. Why not do a prequel? about One-Eyed Willie and how he became known as One-Eyed Willie or something like that. I don't know, but anyway, that's the Goonies and the Gremlins. Yeah,
Have we had any update of that since? Because we spoke about the Goonies on September, didn't we?
Yeah,
when we first did it.
nothing's been said again. I think it's just one of those things where every now and again one of the cast or the original crew will say it's happening, and there's a big furore about it, and then it never comes off.
But excuse me, I thought it was actually happening though.
Well, it's been actually happening for quite a while.
Oh.
And then there was supposed to be a Goonies the musical. There is going to be a Back to the Future the musical, which we're going to go and watch and review, aren't we, Greg?
We will do, yeah. We'll take our secret cameras in.
Don't say that, they won't let us go.
Well, they won't know, it'll be secret.
We won't do that. There's our free tickets down the drain.
Free tickets? We don't get anything for free, unless we get them from...
Santa Carla Boardwalk.
That was, I'm genuinely quite touched by that.
They're nice shirts, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really good. I like the bits you get with it. So would you welcome a Gremlins 3 then?
No, I wouldn't.
Why?
I don't think 2 was all that great, to be honest.
But you went to see it.
Yeah.
And you know full well if 3 came out, you'd go and see that as well.
Yeah, I would, but I'd come out moaning about it.
Alright then, how about this then? We've just said when you went to the cinema, now, there's not, you just stand there and you go, oh, we'll go and watch that. Or you usually go and know what you're going to watch anyway. You'd be more excited going in to see Gremlins 3 than you would... I don't know, something else you've gone to watch.
Yeah, because it's the legacy of Gremlins, isn't
exactly,
it?
So you would go and see it.
You remember how excited you were when Gremlins came out.
Exactly, so the companies must know that people like you and myself would go and see it.
Absolutely.
For the nostalgia.
They also must know that we'll come out saying, why did they do that, why did they do this?
They don't care, they've got your money then. And you know you'll still buy the DVD. I've bought Man of Steel. I haven't unwrapped it yet, but I've had it for 5-6 months in my cupboard. You have to buy them. It's the law.
So when the Gremlins turned bad... That's when it got really scary. Spike.
Yeah, I didn't like all that. That's probably why I don't like the film, because I'm not a horror man. I get a little bit scared. Scared? I'm just part of me chatter outside.
You've got your thinking head on today.
I think I am. Oh, you idiot. Oh, I've dropped my postcard.
So, yeah, and there were bits in it like where Billy's mum microwaved a gremlin that were very...
horrible.
Yeah.
I forgot about that bit. That is no wonder I don't like the film. This gets a 1 for me.
Suppressed memories.
Yeah, because I'm not a big... I can't begin to tell you, right, literally, Michael Jackson's Thriller, I still can't watch some bits of that.
Yeah, I can't listen to the end bit with Vincent Price.
No, Superman 3, I can't watch that bit where she gets all the ropes, all the wires around her. These are, and Gremlins is probably the reason I don't... Because a little part of me knows there's some bits of that I'm like... And I know I sound like a right idiot, but that's how I am. I can't do it. It's fact. Do you like horrors?
Not particularly, but we do. We'll watch one, stick one on every now and again.
You've got 2 kids. You are
They
some terrible
don't
dad.
watch
You
it,
are.
do they? Obviously, when they're in bed. We watched one not so long ago. Me and Tracy.
Who's
and
Tracy?
It was my wife.
Oh. Hi, Trace.
We It was, I can't remember what it was called, but it's quite a recent-ish one, and it was about those 2 supposed ghost hunters in the 70s who went to this haunted house to get rid of this poltergeist or study this poltergeist. And I'm not kidding you, Tracy went up to bed first, right, and I had to put all the lights and everything off, and I couldn't do it. I was
And you've
scared.
just took the mickey out of me.
It was horrendous, Greg, that film.
Did you get your thermals on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, back to the Gremlins.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, I meant to ask you. They did a game, didn't they, of this?
Yes, they did. Very popular video game.
So, go on, talk to me about that then. What was it on? Was it
I think it was on
Spectrum
most
and all
platforms. It was definitely on Spectrum, yeah, because I had it.
Did you? I'm sure I had it as well, I can't remember the actual game, though.
And there's definitely a Game Boy game.
Yes, I've seen that game. But it's the Spectrum one, I can't remember. And I think I did have it.
Video games. Several officially licensed video games were released. One for the Atari 2600. I wonder if that was as good as the E.T. game.
I don't think that's possible, is it?
They also brought it out for the Atari 5200, which is slightly more technically advanced console, so that may have been better.
Nothing about Spectrum.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there it is. There's Spectrum. I can see it.
Yeah. It came out on the Acorn Electron, BBC Micro, Commodore 64 and ZX Spectrum, and it was called Gremlins The Adventure. And that was at the time of the film's release.
I must have had it.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. It also came out on Game Boy. I had that, but that was Well, it came out on the Game Boy Color, but it was also out on Game Boy earlier than that, because I've got it.
We should do a game of that when we do our new thing, shouldn't we?
Yeah. We're going to do
That
some
didn't make any sense, did it?
We're going to do some Let's Play videos. Some of the older retro games. We're going to have
Yeah, none of the
play
new
of some of
stuff.
those.
It's
No,
going to
no
be
new
old
stuff.
stuff. That'll be good with Gremlins to do.
Yeah, so we'll put that on the list.
Yeah, good. I like that idea. Well done, Jace.
Thanks.
Another cracker.
I think that was your idea.
Was it?
To
Well
do
done.
Gremlins, anyway.
Well done, Greg. Fantastic idea. Do you remember the toys? Everyone wanted a gizmo, didn't they?
Yeah, and there were some pretty naff gizmos that came out. I think it was one of the first films for me where there was loads of really naff unofficial merchandise. 'Cause you can get some pretty naff gizmos about, can't you? You used to win them on fairgrounds as well, and they were horrendous.
I remember them coming in a box, very similar to the... Was it Bog?
Boglins.
Yeah, they came in a box like them, didn't they? The actual Gremlins.
Yeah.
Like caged. Am I right? I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I've got a little Gremlins action figure, but that's all I've got, Gremlins-wise. And it was quite merch heavy, but I think it goes for quite a lot of money now.
Why didn't we keep them? I know we've said it in every single podcast, haven't we? Why didn't we just... When I have kids, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell them, don't open that.
I know.
Leave it there.
I'll be like that at Christmas.
Or
Don't
just-
take that out of the box.
Or just buy two. One for you, one to save.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
yeah, because I'm made of money. Buy two of everything, Greg.
This time next year, Jace. Be millionaires.
So, yeah. What do we think of the Gremlins then,
We
Greg?
didn't rate the other one either, did we?
No, we
On
didn't.
the other
It's
podcast?
too late now.
Is it? Okay. Out of 10.
Nostalgia factor.
Well, that's got to be high, hasn't it? It's got to be 7.
7.
Yeah.
And film rating.
I can't really judge because it's been a long time, so I'll go with a 7.
14
Yeah.
out of 20 for you. Nostalgia factor for me, I'm going to have to give it a 9.
Really?
Yeah, because it's one of the ones that I was desperate to see and all of that business. And for film, 8 out of 10.
Oh, you're a pretty big fan there.
Yeah.
Mind you, if you remember going to the cinema though, that's a different
Well,
thing.
I
isn't
didn't
it?
go and see this one. I went to see Gremlins 2.
Yeah, but even so, it's a memorable thing, isn't it? I mean, you won't remember going to cinema to watch Michael
I
Jackson's
remember
Moonwalker,
getting-
will you?
The VHS from the video shop, I remember that quite clearly when it came out. Because I remember booking it, because you used to have to book videos then.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, sign in for it because it's been rented out.
Yeah. Cause
Can I be next on the list for it?
Yeah, they'd probably get 5
Oh,
copies.
they haven't rewound it. Oh, I'm gonna be here an hour.
Well, I've started collecting the big box videos, and on the front sticker, there's some stickers on the front that the video shops used to pay, and it was like £99 for a film in 1984. I mean, obviously,
Oh, because they're going to make the money back renting out,
yeah,
aren't they?
but they're still got to rent it out 100 times before they make the money back. If it was £1 a night,
How do they last? When you think of them tapes, forward, rewind, especially on that bit on the other, the other.
and
film.
I've got lots of the big box ones from the 80s, and they still play. And they're still, still great.
Yeah, overall, it's a memorable. Everyone, and do you know what? It's more popular now if you haven't seen it, just for the logo, the gizmo in it. Do you know what I mean? It's more as a product. It's more popular now, I think, than it was then.
It's not a film I can watch with my kids for the reasons that we've talked about.
Yeah.
But it is a classic 80s film, and I'm sure they will watch it at some point.
Well, of course they will. They've got you as a dad. They're going to be watching them all, aren't they?
You see, the thing is now,
Proper retro.
you see, I often think this, in that me showing these films to my kids, some of them are 30 years old. So let's say...
Your kids?
No, the films.
Oh,
Greg.
no,
Not
sorry.
some of my kids aren't.
Say
30
you
years
are aging on you.
And so I'm showing these 30-year-old films to my kids. So in 1985, say 1986, when I was 10, if my dad had showed me a 30-year-old film, then it would have been from
Oh my word! Don't do it, Jay.
1956.
Don't do it to yourself.
And I just wouldn't have sat and watched it.
That would have been Freddie Stair doing some dance down the stairs.
Yeah.
Don't do it to yourself.
But the reason is
Oh.
because the biggest advancements, I think, were made in films in the late 70s through the 80s, because you had the birth of home video and all of that. So
I
a
think
lot,
80s, you're right. Yeah, I'm not sure about 70s.
so late 70s. So a lot of these films still stand up today.
Yeah, you're
Whereas
right.
in the 80s, a 30-year-old film, like you said, would have been from 50 something, it probably in black and white, and wasn't really that relevant to me. But in these 80s films, a lot of them still stand up now.
Well, that's why, as it is now, nearly 2015, 80s stuff is more popular than ever.
Yeah, because it's people like us who've got sheds.
No, but it really is, though, isn't it? It's cool to like He-Man. It's cool to like Back to the Future, Gremlins. You know, that's what it is. It's a retro cool thing to do. Street Hawk, Knight Rider.
Nintendo. We love Nintendo, don't we, Greg?
Don't we love Nintendo? We got 2 hats of Nintendo, haven't we?
Yeah.
And you can't see them if you're listening, but
no. That's if I've got any of these onto iTunes.
Well, you don't do that anyway, do you?
So yeah, overall, Gremlins has done very well out of us there, hasn't it? Even though you haven't seen it for a while.
Yeah, well, you brought back a lot of memories talking about it. I mean, I was a bit concerned about talking about this because I haven't seen it for so long. But I should have bought it on DVD. But again, a little part of me was I get scared a little bit.
Yeah, I think when you're on your own at night, you'd turn the light off. You'd be scared, wouldn't you?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's leave it there.
Okay. Well, Ghostbusters probably next time, eh?
Yeah, the next one we do will be in the new year.
Happy New Year, Jason.
Happy New Year, Greg.
Happy New Year, listener.
Yeah. Happy New Year,
Thanks
Greg's
for
mum.
listening. Yeah, thanks, Mum.
Thanks for letting us use the shed.
Thanks for the shed.
Can I stay for tea?
Can you stay over tonight, Mum? I'm going to watch Gremlins.
So yeah, Happy New Year to everybody. And we do mean everybody.
Everybody. And we'll see you for our new series as well next year.
Yeah, we'll start shooting in January.
2015. It's going to be a good year.
It is going to be a very good year.
It was a good year.
Yeah. All right.
Take care. Tra.